if you had a shape where you wanted to do something like this, you could do it as a line like that. Let's say like that. And let's make it fatter. And right here, under Object, Path, Outline Stroke, it'll just turn it into a shape instead of a line. So then I could just take that and go, here's my shape. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can outline but now it's not going to be an active line anymore where I can adjust it with my Bezier curves and all that, but that's fine. It's just another way you can make a more complex shape, okay? Let me do this real quick before we keep going. With that, in the way we're using it, you know, we're creating, you know, obviously a shape that goes across it or whatever, but it starts, the gradient start, how I start it is right here in your swatch panel, you have a stock gradient. Gotta make sure you're not on the, whatever you call it.
I think I started from the toolbar on the left instead, so maybe that's.
Oh yeah, you probably went straight to here.
Yeah.
And you got to go, I just go right here and I start with this stock gradient. And then I pull it whichever direction I need. And then I go, in this case, I go Option, drag, and I get another point. Double click this one, go to 0 opacity. Double click this one and make it white first. You gotta make it white. And then go to 0 opacity. And then you get this nice drop off. We're gonna go, let's lock this off. Let's make a new layer. Now let's do this actually. Let's put this over here a little bit. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna create this from shape, okay? And the way we're gonna do that is you have a palette right here called your Pathfinder palette right there. I'm gonna pull it off of here. And we'll put it right here. Let's see. So this is going to go back to that big to small thing again a little bit. So now I'm going to go onto my, this is called shape. This will be my shape layer. And I'm going to go. I'll try and do this as quick as I can. Now up here in the hair, I don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go bing, and there's this flesh tone. Now I'm going to go here. I'm going to take the fill out of it so you can see what I'm doing.
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri's talking to me for some reason. For some reason, it has a guy's voice. Go back to here. Something got stuck there. I'm not sure what's going on. There we go. Now, I'm usually really careful about where all my little curved parts are and all that, but I'm going to be a little quick here. I'm going to have a couple of kinks in here. I'll fix them afterwards. Pull this off a little. Now, what I do is I hold shift so it'll constrain it this way. Oops, that way. As I'm pulling it over, I'm going to fill this. That way, everything will just line up. You can see I got a kink right there, so let's get rid of that. Yeah. And a little one right there. Okay, so now we got that. Now, let's get his ear in here. So I might just go in here and make this shape. Let's get rid of that fill. Get that. Now here's a little trick when you're doing a circle and you're trying to get an oblong or shape or something like that, and you're trying to line it up. If you hold space bar, you can move it around and then go back to manipulating the shape. Does that make sense? Yes? So I'm
Yeah.
holding space bar, I can move it back over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna get it like maybe there, then I'm just gonna grab my thing and go around there, and I can turn it a little bit. So I just grab my thing, went to the corner, and that's it. And I'm gonna go. Now, this has got to sit in front of this, which it's going to because it's the last shape I made. And then I'll just go here, fill it with the same flesh tone. Then I'm going to go right here and watch how I can just basically do nothing here, except for maybe here. But out of here, I don't have to worry about anything. It's going to go out here like that. Now, let's look at something really quick. What the Pathfinder palette does, if I take shapes, so let's change the color on this one, so we can see what we're doing here. These are telling you what it's going to do. We're only concerned with these 4 right now. If I select both of these, this one right here is unite. So it unites both the shapes together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, go back. This one is telling me this top shape is going to punch out the bottom shape. So now I'm going to do that, and it does that. Okay. This one is telling me it's going to save the intersection, which is right here. So I'm going to do that. And this one is going to knock out the intersection like that. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Hopefully I've got it. No, let's do this. I want it to be a different color so I can tell what I'm doing. Let's do this. Do this. And then I'm going to pull both of these over so I don't combine them. I'm just going to go. So all I want is that shape. Get rid of this. Pull this back over. Now, I'm going to go here. If you remember, up here under Object, Arrange, I bring this to the front. And there's our shadow value.
Wow.
Okay. So now we got that. Now let's go. Now here's something I can do here with the mouth. I could go, there's a bunch of ways I could do this. I could just do it as a shape. But I could also just go. It should be a line, so I'm going to flip that, make it a line. Now I'm just going to take my width tool. That should probably be enough. Get the right color. I have to flip it again. Yeah. Oh, get it. Do this and that. Now I could also just make that as a shape. That would be fine. This has a little kink in it. Yeah. Now, this, I'm going to go. I'm going to get my ellipse tool. I'm going to take this whole thing, get my reflect tool, which you talked about, I think, yesterday. Hold Option. You can see right there, I get that double arrow. I just got to line this eye up the right way on this side, you know. It's going to have to tilt that way a little bit. Then I'm gonna grab this. Now, here's another thing, you guys. If you need a custom color, when you're doing something like this, it actually helps. So I might go like this and grab this color because it's in this a lot. It just makes it easier when I do lines. And I can just grab this swatch and pull it over here, and it's right there now. I could also make this, but I'll do that later. So I'm gonna go make this little, actually I can just do it over here. Let's flip this. Go a little fatter. Grab this. Object, arrange, bring the front. And we just built the face, correct? Oh, it's a little darker.
Did you lock the shape that you made on the like shadow part of his face?
I don't think I locked anything.
I noticed when I was working with the pen tool, it would sometimes like join a different line.
Yeah, that's what we talked about with the other one. A lot of times you do, you have to lock it off because it gets near it, it'll lock into it.
Okay.
Usually I do have to do that, almost always.
Okay.
Okay, now, if we go here for his neck, you're not seeing that much of it. So I'm just gonna go like that. Hold this over here. Go up to object, arrange, send to back. Don't go send backwards, go send to back. It's actually a little too thick here. Looks like. Get the right color. And then we're gonna go. This black's gonna cover it, so this doesn't have to be a clean edge. You guys understanding what I was talking about, how I could do a children's activity book in a day or two?
Yeah.
Why now I could do that? You can make things that feel much more complicated that aren't. So this one, I think I'm just going to do as a shape. I could also do it with my line width tool, but I think I'm just going to do it as a shape. It's just such a simple shape. And again, I'm going to grab this, grab my reflect tool, put an anchor point. I have to put an anchor point, hold option, mirror it. Not quite perfect, but none of it matters for this. There we go. I'd have to clean that up. I just have to pull that in, but that's fine. And then let's grab this. You notice they're all basically one big shape. Now, a lot of times it's something like this, I'll mirror the whole thing, but I don't think I need to with it. Let's pull it down here and give it a little. Let me get rid of the, yeah. Object, arrange, send it back. Now I got a couple kinks in here. Normally I'm being a little sloppy, but I'm doing that for the sake of time. Probably round these off a little bit. Yeah, normally I round off little hard edges like that. Let's grab this. I think I'm going to try and do this just with my width tool. Yeah. Okay, so here's another one. I'm gonna go. Make sure you remember when you use that reflect tool, you gotta set an anchor point. Just grab both of these. Now, like these little parts here, you want to make sure it doesn't have a hard, sharp edge. Like right there, there's a little curve. It's gonna be a little sloppy. I never do that, but it's fine. Oops. Maybe his hands all like spidery looking. Now, what I'd have to do here. And normally what I would do is I'd go in here real close and I'd get this real nice. Okay, so don't be sloppy like this. You're gonna have more time. Close enough for them. Close enough for horseshoes and handle. Okay. Boom. Right? Yes?
Wow. That's
Well,
Simple, right?
yes.
What was the thing that you got the mirror image? Where does that?
So here's how, I just want to make this clear. Here's how it works. It's really simple. Now, number one, just in general, in a lot of programs, if I click this and then I hold Option, I get that double arrow. See it? You guys see it?
yes.
Yes.
What that means, if I hold that and I drag it, I'm going to get a duplicate. Okay. Well, that also works when I go to a bunch of different things, but let's say with the reflect. But see, there's an anchor point there. So then I got to tell it where I want the anchor point. So I'm going to drop an anchor point there, hold Option. And then I just held Shift and I get a perfect mirror image of it.
So you move the anchor point first and then do the.
You have to drop an anchor point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, that because it has to have something. It has to have something to go, well, where do you want me to rotate it at? You know, you're telling me to reflect. Well, so I have to drop an anchor point. What I usually do, like with this Conan figure, like his shirt right here, where his lapels in, I go, well, that's about the middle. So for like his hands, I just go bink and I put it right there and then it gets me close and then I just pull it in.